Corso and Catone.
Listen, Mark, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and Corso Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe is with us in the booth as always. And you're watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you podcast, you can catch us. And make sure you give us a call in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS. Give us a call 24/7. Leave us a message. Anything's on the table. Joe's going to pick one. Let it be yours, 855-313-7287. Hey, and email us our mailbag, Mark, corso.catone@gmail.com. Put it on paper. Send us an email. You know, you can do it from the phone now, Mark. You can.
If they're like you, they're gonna do it on paper, T-Rex.
You don't have to like hand write it anymore. You could like type it out like with a typewriter, and then you could do that. So yeah, send us an email, corso.catone@gmail.com. That's it. Typewriter. Click, 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 click. You know, got a good one today. And Heated Hotline, we're going to hear from one of you in Heated Hotline or in our mailbag. Joe will let us know when that comes up. And of course, Catone's comments. Stick around for that. You're not going to want to miss it. And in Weekly Rewind, hey, we're going to go back and talk Celtics. And guess who won the Stanley Cup? We'll talk about that in Weekly Rewind. And of course, Yankees versus Red Sox. Gentlemen, how are we doing this week?
Hey, doing wonderful. You know, we're about to enter the dog days, though, Chris. We're about to hit July. The things start to, no more basketball's over. All we have is baseball, the training camp.
Yeah, but you know what, Mark? We're going to have some more. We're going to have some different things we're bringing in, you know?
Okay.
And
we got to do something.
Well, we're going to do something. Joe's putting it together now. Would you rather? Oh, yeah. We're going to have – that's going to be the title, too. Would you rather? We're going to have a couple of choices for you to be able to email and call us and leave us messages during the week so we can discuss it. We'll have some fun with that, Mark, I think. You know?
Sounds good to me. We have to do something to spice this up once July hits.
I think Joe's afraid a little bit. Joe, you scared a little bit of that, of us putting something like that together?
Nah, we got to go off the tracks every now and again, you know, for the fans or Corso and Catone are truly about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get to that coming in the coming weeks. But hey, right now, let's hear from one of you in Heated Hotline or the mailbag. Joe.
This one is from the mailbag, and this is from Frank from Cranston. Says, love the show. But let me ask you a question. If the Patriots didn't take a wide receiver until the 6th round, they must have thought that their wide receivers were good. Now they're bringing in Hopkins for a visit. So do they think that the receivers suck now? I do. I am totally confused. Help! That's from Frank from Cranston. I loved it.
Mark, did you pay this guy, Mark? Did you pay this guy to write in with the Hopkins and he must have thought the receiver room was good, and that sounds like you.
My brother. Two of me.
So thank you, Frank, for the email and in the mailbag. Hey, and that's the inaugural one, isn't it, Joe?
That is our first one. I chosen Frank because he asked a good question. Hopkins is here. What happened? Why is he here?
Well, he's here right now this week. He was here, yesterday and today, Mark, visiting with the Patriots. He had already visited with the Titans. But to get to Frank's point, and I'm going to let you jump on this immediately because this has been you've been singing this anthem for, I don't know, 2 years now about the wide receiver.
You have to get me started on this.
Yeah,
Joe, you got to lead. You had to lead the show with this, Joe.
We had to get started with something.
Jesus.
So, Mark, what do you think? What's Frank? Is Frank's nervous? He's worried. He's confused. We need to help him.
I don't know about helping him if he's confused, but he should be worried and nervous because, Chris, I said leading into the draft that I thought our wide receiver room, I'll use Frank's words, suck, because it does suck. They do suck, Frank. I will 100% agree with you on that fact. Yeah. Okay. But yet, you and I, Chris, went back and forth the night of the draft when they took Gonzalez in the first round. And I was so upset and livid that night. Chris had to listen to me rant and rave for 2 hours and then I thought about it, listened to some reports, and I was like, you know what, Chris? I can live with the pick because the Patriots thought that their wide receiver room was good. They had enough talent. They had enough bodies and guys that wasn't on their priority list. They didn't think that was a need. And that was obvious because to Frank's point, they didn't take one to the 6th round. So, you're right, Frank. They didn't think it was a priority until they got into minicamp and Chris's buddy broke a fingernail. He's out. Thornton, who I thought, listen, I guess I was wrong. I thought the kid could become something. Chris said he's a piece of glass. I guess Chris is right.
Am I gonna start yelling at you and saying revisionist history and all that crap like you did to me last week? Joe, you remember that?
You can if he turns into, what do you call him? What are you going to name for him? What's your nickname for him?
The giraffe.
The giraffe. Okay. So if he truly is a giraffe and doesn't develop, you can absolutely do that to me. I will allow it.
I don't mean that in any disrespectful way, other than the fact that he's gangly, lanky, and looks like he can break a bone and running a go route.
So bottom line, Chris, to make this, cut a long story short, I agree. Our wide receiver room sucks. We should have drafted the receiver long before the 6th round. We didn't. And now all of a sudden, a couple of guys got banged up. Well, guys like our local media guys are saying, well, we don't have a lot of depth. They got to bring Hopkins in. They probably listen. We didn't have, never mind depth. I don't know what anybody was evaluating, Chris. How did anyone think our receiver room was good? What do you think?
No, I've been on that with you right with you all the time. I don't think the receiver room is very good. And like you said, I understood you started to come to terms with it on draft night saying, okay, so if they don't think that's a position in need, everything you just said, here's the problem now. Why bring this guy in for a visit? What the hell is the point of bringing you're going to bring Hopkins in for a visit, and if they sign him, Mark, then isn't that a message to everybody saying, no, we didn't think our wide receiver room was very good? There it is. There's your admission to that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, then if that's the case, then why not take the kid Smith, the Jaga from Ohio State first? And Mark, you're coming around to where I was. I'm coming around to where you were that night at this point. And the more I look at the league and the more I look at what teams are doing and the more I see it all, I'm thinking to myself, is the corner going to get us to a Super Bowl, or do we become immediate contenders with a guy like that from Ohio State? Although I will say it would have been fine with Hyatt at pick 2. We've already discussed all that. So, yeah, the receiving, the long answer to your short question, no, they're not good. And they're injury prone. And now we see it.
And the reports coming out of camp, Chris, basically are Kendrick Bourne is what you and I said he was. He's a tease. He makes you, he's going to have a big year. He's like missing an action. And I realize they're only in shirts, T-shirts, and shorts. But it doesn't seem like Kendrick Bourne, Chris, is ever going to make that jump. And you can already tell by another OTA that he's not making the jump that everybody thinks he is. So what do you really have in that room?
Well, here's the room,
what's his
Mark.
name?
Here's the
Parker
room.
will be hurt, Chris. By week 3, Parker will be
Right.
hurt. He'll be missing 5 games, 6 games.
Yeah, he's the X. So you're going to have Parker at the X, that outside guy. You're going to have Smith-Schuster at the Z. I think Demario Douglas probably makes this team. And unfortunately, I think Butte is going to end up on the an IR or a situation like that because a redshirt year, which I don't want to hear, but I haven't seen him out there yet. But
That's
you're probably going to end up.
They're going to redshirt him, Chris.
Which bothers me because I think that kid can pop. But so if you're going to probably have Bourne, Douglas, Parker, Schuster, and Thornton. I mean,
but Schuster, Chris, hasn't practiced yet because of the knee.
No, and I told you what I think the other day. Mark and I were talking, and I said, look, this is going to trail. This is going to be a problem all through the summer. You mark my words. The conversation in training camp is going to be Schuster's knee. He hasn't practiced yet. Is he going to go on PUP? Is this going to be an extended thing? How long? When's he going to be able to come back? Is it going to be week 3? This is what you're going to start hearing all summer long about this guy's knee, and that's your guy that you brought in. So no, the wide receiver room sucks. They need Hopkins. They need a guy like that. And I'm not sold. Listen, I'm not that sold on Hopkins either, Mark. I'm not.
Well,
I don't know if he's got anything left.
And Chris, he's not signing for cheap money. So
No.
so that's the other thing. He wants his money. That's why he's visiting you, because Buffalo and Kansas City tried to sign him for cheap money, and that wasn't happening. Hence, that's why he's here. He met with the Titans and he met with you because you were two teams that can pay him. Unless he's using us as a bargaining chip to go back to Buffalo and Kansas City and say, hey, they offered me 12, but I'll take 8 from you. Because maybe they started at 4, and he figures if I get them to 8, I'll play with Mahomes for 8. I'm not playing with Mahomes for 4. So maybe he's playing that game. I don't know. I will be shocked if Bob Kraft pays Hopkins.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
What it's going to take to get Hopkins on a team like this. Because what do you have to offer them? You're not a Super Bowl contender. So what are you offering Hopkins besides money? So that means you're going to have to pay.
They need him. They need him. It's a risk. They wouldn't have needed him if they handled that draft the way we would have. Take Gonzalez, take Hyatt, the second round, instead of White, who I haven't seen yet. And instead of that Mapu, which he's popping, we're going to go over that in a second, take your tackle, which we're going to get to now. So, Frank, thank you for the email. Look, we agree. We think the wide receiver room isn't very good, and let's see. Hopkins comes in. Oh, now, you've now become relevant. There's somebody to prepare for, And so, Mark, this week, and since we're talking about this, let's get into minicamp, okay? Because they had their OTAs, and then this week they had 2 out of 3. What did you see? I mean, I have some notes on it, but what stood out to you?
Well, you mentioned Mute, the 3rd round pick, and we're saying they should have taken a tackle, but supposedly, Chris, he's popping. He looks real good. What's his name? Judon can't stop singing his praises. He said he's a cross. He's got the speed of a free safety,
right?
But yet he's got the physical ability of an edge guy or an outside linebacker. So he said he's basically called him almost like a physical freak. Now, they're in T-shirts and shorts. If the kid's that good, Chris, maybe you stole something. Maybe you stole somebody and hey, great. The kid Gonzalez, Chris, from all intents and purposes, what he has shown, he's going to be your boundary corner day one starting with Jack Jones probably on the other side. I think that's what we're seeing, right?
Yeah.
But, Chris, listen, I get all that. Let me ask you a question, though, and then I'm going to let you talk about this. What year is it? What year is it right now? Is it 2000? What is it? 2000 what? I'm confused.
Well, sometimes I don't even know what day it is, but it's 23.
Okay, it's 2023. It's not 1993, is it? Or 2003?
You know what's funny? 1994. They just had the Dolphins and the Patriots 1994 game, that shootout they had in week 1. Dolphins and the Patriots. Okay. Bledsoe Marino. Go ahead.
Okay. But I just had to clarify the year that we're in, because so everything we're going to talk about today, Chris, revolves around the defensive players and what they've shown at OTAs. Who the hell on the offensive side of the ball has shown anything?
Well, okay. I'm going to try to be a little bit positive for a moment, okay? Because, we got to we'll read the deal, New England Field. We're going to give our people something to hope and look for, right, Mark? The tight ends look pretty good. I will say that. Gilsecki looked good. Now, look, they're getting a lot of work because you didn't see wide receivers on the field.
If you're talking about
I thought you said you were going to let me talk.
I am, but listen, if we're talking about tight ends, we're winning 5 games.
Well, you know what? There's still pieces of the team. We want to talk about what looks good. We'll get to what looks bad. There's enough in the offensive line to talk about that in a minute. But Gilsecki looks pretty good. Now, they got a lot of work this week. They had a lot of two tight end sets. We get nervous about 2 tight end sets because it's a T-Rex, like Mark says. It keeps going backward. But I think that was more to do with Schuster's not there, Thornton's not there, Parker's useless. I think you got the Butte's not there. So you're limited in wide receivers, so you're working your tight ends. But they both complemented each other pretty well this week. And I thought a lot of the operation was pretty good with them, on the offensive side of the ball. Kevin Harris had a nice week too. Stevenson's limited in these OTAs, so Harris had to step up. I thought he looked pretty good this week for that offensive side of the ball. So offensively, and Mac Jones, listen, I don't think it doesn't look like there's much of a quarterback, competition. I mean, Mac Jones when Mac Jones wasn't getting the reps with the first team, he had the ability to audible, which, by the way, he's now changing plays at the line. He's audibling. He's doing things like that. There was none of this last year. O'Brien's making a difference right away. Is he not? There wasn't much place to go but up. But
no, he is making a difference right away. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. He also there's a comfort level there, I think, because I think O'Brien is trying to bring in some of the stuff that he did run at Alabama. Even though, to your point, Chris, maybe because they don't have all their offensive players there yet, he's not showing it. But I think you're going to see RPOs. I think you're going to see things that Jones was comfortable with when he was at Alabama, and I think he's going to try to do some of that here. And I think
he's going to put some Alabama stuff in there. He will.
He's going to do that for him. And I think, Chris, if you need to change something on the fly, I think O'Brien is a hell of a lot more able to do that than those bozos we had last year. And I think Mac Jones knows that. So, yeah, Chris, there's no quarterback controversy at all. Everyone thought there was going to be a competition. There's no competition. He's your starting quarterback. You're going to roll with them and see where it goes. And to your point, he has looked sharp, Chris, but a lot of his passes are going to tight ends, but he has looked sharp in quite a few drills. And Kevin Harris, Chris, is going to be an important piece because
he is.
Without Damian Harris, you need somebody that can go in and give
cut Robinson
time. Because you can't. Ramondre Stevenson, Chris, cannot continue the workload he had last year. He can't. You have to give him a blow, and they couldn't do that last year because Damian Harris was hurt so many games. Right. But you're going to have to do that this year with this kid Harris. P.S. Strong, I think, Chris, will be a good change of pace back that you can probably put in there. And Ty Montgomery, if he can just stay on the field and stay healthy.
He looked good. Mark, he's
going to give them that Kevin White aspect, I think. James White. I said Kevin. James White.
Yeah. No, Ty Montgomery looked really good. He did. But getting to the bad. Look, it's clear as a bell. The offensive line is going to continue to be a problem now. Okay. Yeah. Trent Brown. Okay. Look, I'm listening all week to, you don't have a choice with it. First of all, he misses the first day because of a hailstorm in Texas. He booked the last flight out to come to New England. So he can't come to practice. He got stuck. They got canceled his flight. Like, dude, come the day before. You know what I mean? Like this, that's no excuse to me. Come the day before. Don't give me that. You booked the last flight out, not the first flight, so you can maybe. And then the next day, he shows up. He plays, but maybe for a couple of series, something, and then he kind of sat out the rest of it. And then Belichick canceled practice the next day, and he was pissed off that they did. Like, the Brown was pissed that they canceled practice. Like, why the hell did I come all the way up here? And he's slob. He came in overweight. He's a friggin' slob. That's what this guy is. He's a slob, okay? He's a guy that wants to – he hasn't been anything since 1 year, 2018. So I heard this week, you don't have a choice. What are you going to do? You can't walk away from him. You have no, you do have a choice. Because I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you this. Calvin Anderson, Reef, did you see anything out of Brown last year that tells you that he's even worth this?
No.
That those guys can't do any better?
No.
So what's the problem? Cut his ass. Cut his fat ass and get him out of there. Enough.
Right. So tell us how you really feel about Trent Brown.
Please.
Would you please
I'm
tell
so
us?
sick of Trent Brown, man.
Listen. So, Chris, if he's a slob, like you say he is, well, that's a problem, Chris, because why did Belichick extend this guy after year one? Like, after year one, what are you doing with this guy? Okay, maybe you sign him for another year. But you're right, Chris. Why is he still on this roster? Cut his ass and cut your losses. What are you going to do with him? Open up a roster spot.
I listen, I'm with you. I'm and then so there's problems at the tackle spot, and we're going to have to see what happens now. Now, on the other side of the ball, we talked about Mapu is up. Man, that dude, sideline to sideline. You can't tell if he's safety, linebacker. He can do it all. I get it. Temper it. But if he continues this, then that's the off-ball guy that we wanted. If it can be done.
If it can be done, yes, he is.
Christian Gonzalez, another guy that looks pretty good. He's not making huge plays, but he's just gifted. You can see it, Yep. So I think our defensive backfield is going to look pretty damn good. Anthony Jennings, not having such a good couple of days, is he?
No. He has never, but Chris, I just think that was another wasted draft pick. We thought that last year, and they figured out a little bit of a niche for him, but I don't know how much longer you can give this kid a chance to pop, Chris. I just don't think he's going to.
Right. Talk about this Lawrence Guy situation. We're over, but take a minute. This guy's holding out. Lawrence Guy is holding out.
Well, here's the thing, Chris, with Lawrence Guy. I'm going to be honest with you. You can go by stats, but here's the thing with him. You've lost, Chris, a lot of guys. That
you're going to give me the locker room crap. Here we go. Yeah.
It's not crap, Chris. What do you got in that locker room? McCourty's gone, right? McCourty's gone. Yeah. And all intensive purposes, Chris, Matt Two's there because Duggar will be going at the end of the year. They're not going to. Duggar has a big year. He's gone. You ain't re-signing him because now you got him. Jabril, all Belichick keeps singing the praises of Jabril Peppers. He keeps talking about how good Peppers looks. So the handwriting's on the wall, Chris, with Duggar. So you need some locker room presence. How much more is this guy asking for? Just give it to him. Get him in the goddamn, get him in, and let's be done with it. Like they're fighting over pennies and nickels. You know what the issue is, Chris? That's not a position on Belichick's 1963 board,
right? That
he gives any money to. He don't go over a certain limit. That's his limit. So, you know what? Hold out all you want. I ain't giving it to you. Well, listen, but maybe you need to get away from that philosophy that's outdated and old, because that's why we're at where we're at right now.
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't like his numbers. He's going to make about $2.5 million. He wants a little bit more. I mean, last year he had 18 solo tackles, 2 sacks, no forced fumbles. I'm okay with Barmore, Davis, Equali, Gottschall. See what this Keon White is and Dietrich Weiss. The hell with guy. Okay. Look, Judon, take over that role then. Take over the role, Judon.
Okay, so then if that's the case, Chris, then move on from Guy. If he's only worth $2.5 million this year, then release him. Get rid of him, cut him. Get rid of him, release him. Fuck, screw him.
So, okay. So we'll see what happens with all that. And we got a lot more to deal with in the coming weeks, Mark. We're going to talk about some of the plays that are in and out, who we think by position, what these rooms should look like, who the guy should be. We're going to have a lot more on that this weeks to come as we lead up to training camp. So, Frank, thank you for that email. Heated Hotline was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Hey, when we come back, Catone's comments, you can hear him. He's already a little saucy today. So, Catone's comments is next.
Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, This is startups, finance, train them, trust them, and let them lead. With your host, Marcus Arias. Tune in to Special Sauce Podcast, wherever you podcast. What's your special sauce? Time for Catone's Comments!
So this time of the year in this part of the country, not like, I mean, I realize where Chris is, it's 11 months a year, right? But over here, this time of the year is now the time of the year we like to be outside. We're cooking on grills. We're doing different things. And I got an issue. I have an issue with these manufacturers and these companies that produce these certain types of foods and bottling and all this stuff. So you go into, my wife says, oh, go get the mustard and the pickles for the burgers. Well, okay. Well, the pickles, they've been in there for a while in that closet. What's the expiration date? Expiration date? Where is it? You're going to look the top of the jar, bottom, side, back label, side label. You get a better shot of going to the casino and throwing a 7 or 11 than finding this goddamn expiration date. So now you found it. Okay, so now, is that a 3? Is it an 8? I don't know. You can't tell. What is it? 3, 8? Is that a 1? A 0? A 10? What the hell is it? You can't tell what the number. You can't tell what the numbers are. It's like reading a foreign language, right? Now, my issue is this. Why can't you put the expiration date on the same spot on these jars, on every single jar? On one jar, it's on the top when you unscrew the thing. On one jar, it might be on the label, on the back of the label, the side of the label. I don't know where the hell the expiration dates are. You need an engineering degree to try to figure it out. Then the best part, they put the expiration date on the back with a bunch of serial numbers. There's a bunch of serial numbers, and then they give you somewhat. Maybe it's the expiration date, maybe it's not. It's like the Da Vinci Code. I don't know what the hell it is. You're going to try to figure out the goddamn expiration date. Who the hell? What are you? Then the new thing is best if used by. What the hell does best if used by mean? Does that mean you can use it tomorrow? Does that mean I can use it Monday? What does it mean? What does it mean? Best if used by. So what does that mean? If you use it Monday, you won't get sick. But if you use it Tuesday, you'll be in the hospital with food poisoning. Like what the hell does that mean? Just say expires. 6/15/23. Not best if used by. What the hell does that mean? Then you got these other products. The expiration date's for like 2 years. It's good for 2 years. 2 years. How can it stay fresh for 2 years? There's so many chemicals in that thing that keep it fresh for 2 years. If you use it, you're gonna glow. You'll glow in the dark from all the chemicals. Who the hell's gonna put that in their body? I don't understand it. These expiration dates, best if used by. You know what? Maybe I'm becoming T-Rex. I'm getting too old to figure all this nonsense out, Chris. I'm getting old. I can't do it anymore, Chris.
I 100% agree.
You know what? I have to say
He's 100% right,
Yeah,
Mark.
he-
I think I
he-
just
he
said that
really
the other day.
Yes, Joe.
The other day, I said that to myself. I'm like, why can't they put it in a one spot at least? It should be like stop signs. They're red all over the country for a reason.
Wait, Mark,
That's
take
right,
over the
Joe.
screen for 1 second. Joe, keep going. I'll be. Give me 1 second.
I mean, it's crazy though. I 100% agree.
Isn't it nuts, Joe? But this best if used by, this is something new. They never did that before, Joe. Best if used by. I don't even know what the hell does that mean.
They're like, can you smell it? Take a little look at it. Does it look green? Is there mold inside?
Yeah. Like, really? Are you kidding me? Best if used by. Okay. I don't know. It's absolute insanity. And this time of the year, like I said, Joe, it's worse because now you get mustard, ketchup, pickles. You got all the stuff you use when you're cooking on the grill. They all these jars got expiration dates. You're right. Who the hell knows where the expiration date is? You're turning the thing upside down, spinning it. You're looking all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't find anything.
It's like, and you're right. It's like hieroglyphics. Reading hieroglyphics. I'm trying to find the nearest common denominator. What number is that?
Yeah.
So here's what Mark's talking about. Okay, you see this bottle right here? I won't show the name, but it's just like blue cheese, like a dip kind of thing.
Yeah,
you see it.
Nobody could see that. Nobody could see that. Right?
But you do see numbers and stuff like
yeah.
Okay, that's what Mark's talking about. Or this. I can't even find the friggin' thing in order to put it on the screen.
Oh, you gotta turn that.
Well, that's the other thing, Chris. You need a I didn't even get into the magnifying glass. You need never mind your casino glasses don't work for that.
Right.
You
And
need
for those of you listening, I'm holding up bottles of pickles and blue cheese dressing. You can't. He's right. The other Joe, you just said it. Last week, I had these 2 jars right here that I just brought over. I had the same thing. I'm looking at this thing. I got glasses on. Okay. I tried to take another pair and put them in front of this pair that I'm wearing right now. I still can't read the goddamn thing. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to throw it out. I'll make one of my kids try it first.
Yes.
But you're right. It pisses you off. It's like, why? What is the Joe? What is the thought process there? I mean, you're well read. Mark and I don't even know how to read.
Come on, don't tell all the audience that. Well read. And the funny thing is, like, everything has to be FDA approved. And they go, wait, and that's not all of a sudden the expiration date or anything that's like stamped and labeled. Oh, the labeling has to be FDA approved. Everything's approved except for that. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's Mark. Listen, I've been honestly waiting for you to do this on a Catone's comments. I really have, with the expiration dates, because there's not a person. Email us, call us, tell us. Everybody on the planet has to, not the country, the planet has to agree with this. It's impossible to read. Yeah. Don't you want people to know? And Mark, I don't know what the Best Buy. Yeah, Best Buy. What the hell?
Best used by. What does that mean? Best used by. What does that mean?
What, like, so
how long can you keep it?
How long past the best used by date?
Well, like Joe said, you would think the FDA would come up with regulate that, right? Like, what the hell does that even mean? Like when you went to get those 2 jars, Joe's like, "What are you looking? Are you looking for mold? Like, what are you looking for? How the heck do you know?"
So you just got to collapse. If
yeah.
So if you spend the whole day on the toilet, then you know that it probably should have been thrown away.
Should have been thrown away.
I mean, I know how vulgar that sounds. Okay, but we can all relate to that, Mark.
And listen, Mark, by the way, I understand. Maybe if you're young, like your kid's age, my kid's age, Christian, ain't a big deal. They pick the jar up. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because they don't need 4 pairs of glasses, and they don't need the hell of telescope that you're looking at the moon with to see the goddamn numbers on the jar, because they're not our age. But listen, Christopher Corso has a milestone birthday today.
You know what? I was just about to go to break, and you want to bring this up now.
No, we're talking about we can't see, so I might as well bring it up. He's 50 years old, audience. Everybody, wish Christopher a happy birthday and tell him to get a thicker pair of glasses.
So you should be playing this week. You should be playing the Ringling Brothers.
Yes.
For that one. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you bringing that up to everybody.
I give you this one, though.
Perfect. That's exactly how I feel today. Mark, there's something about putting that 5. Putting that 5 in your age.
I know. Oh, I know.
So
you're going to tell me.
Mark, good stuff. Good stuff. I've been bitching about that for years, about the expiration. So good job. Catone's comments was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Well, hey, listen, come back. The next segment, it does have an expiration date on it. It's a weekly rewind, and that's next.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Hey, listen, few things happened this past week we need to get to in the NBA and the NHL. We're going to do that weekly rewind. We're going to do it now. Going back through the week. About a weekly rewind. Speaking of age, man, even watching that, thank God people on iHeartRadio can't see the wash. No, sorry, Joe, but because even that wash where you see me in there, I even look younger there. It goes fast, man.
God, Joe.
Christ, you know. Well, that's it. It's all over now. It's all over. So listen, Mark, I'll tell you what else it's all over for. The Celtics Bruins, their season's ended, but the NBA season just ended and the NHL season did as well. Denver won the series. They're the world champions. We thought that would be the case. I had it in a sweep. Mark had it in 5. Mark was correct. It went 5. I don't think either one of us thought they would lose the game they did.
No.
But a couple of things happened with that loss that I think is pertinent to the Celtics and what they're about right now. So talk about that, Mark, and how far away are the Celtics from a team like that or even the Heat?
So Denver loses game 2, and immediately after the game, and in the post-game press conference, the coach calls out their attention to detail, their effort, the fact that we're in the NBA Finals and that effort's not good enough, and I'll address it. But he said it's on me. He said, but that's not acceptable. He called him right out 5 minutes after the game, Chris. Did that sound? What did Joe Mazzulla? Oh, we took good shots. I like our shots. I like our effort. They just didn't go in. On the opposite side of that, what are you? So you see the difference in the two coaches, just how they reacted after a loss. The coach for Denver was pissed. Mazzulla, we're okay, we're good. I'm glad. I like the way we. You like the way they played?
Mark, listen. And I'm shuffling all around, moving all around.
Listen,
That's
Chris,
why I muted myself because I'm grabbing these stats.
Grab the stats. The more and more I think about it, I don't know how the hell Joe Mazzulla's got a job. Just thinking back of the comments he made after these games, Chris, I don't understand how he's got a job.
Talking about the 3-point, talking about the fact they're losing games and saying, well, we didn't take enough 3-pointers. We only took 21 threes. We only did this. Mark, let me tell you this. Let me talk to you about this right now. So this is a 3-point attempts per game in the NBA playoffs. These are the teams. Okay, here you go.
Whoa, what did I say? Anytime you're gonna read those stats, put those glasses.
Okay, all right.
Rod's
You're
team.
right. Right, today, you know what, Joe? Today I was trying to feel younger again, but
just don't even bother.
Totally destroyed that too. That's all right. This is why I never leave my house. I don't like people. Okay, so 3-point attempts per game in the NBA playoffs. The top teams, okay, 1 through 5 were the Warriors at 42, Bucks at 41, Kings at 39, Celtics 38, Grizzlies 38. Okay, that's the top 5. Okay, did any of those teams finish even? Were any of those teams in the finals? No, only one of those teams were in the conference final, right? I don't know. The Warriors weren't. Bucks, Kings, Grizzlies. Okay, here are the bottom 5, the least amount of shots taken. Okay. The least amount, 25 for the Suns, 30 for the Nuggets, 30 for the Lakers, 30 for the Cavs, 32 for the Timberwolves. Nuggets shot 30 on average. Mark, they shot 18. They shot 17, I think, in game 5, the clinching game. I think they shot 17 3-pointers, Denver. And they were like, I don't know. I don't remember how many. The percentage was pretty good. The point is, the coach recognized early in that series the shots weren't falling. The 3-point shots for the Nuggets weren't falling. You remember it. And so what did he do? He changed. He attacked the zone with that kid Brown off the bench. Okay. Dish to Jokic. Jokic became a facilitator, which he can do, really, really well. He became a facilitator. Guys were cutting to the rim. I saw a real fast break, Mark. A real one. Where it ended up in a nice, easy layup versus the guy taking it all the way down the court himself against 2-3 guys trying to draw the foul and hope that it'll go in. This was a boom, boom, boom layup.
So, Chris.
There it is, Mark. How about Mazzulla? There it is.
Yeah, you bring up some interesting points there. A couple of things I heard you say. Cutting to the basket.
Yeah.
When the hell does that happen? Cutting to the basket? Wow, that's a novel idea, Chris. Then you bring up cutting to the basket, and you brought up driving. dishing, driving, and going in for layups. We don't have anybody that can facilitate that, Chris, on our team. Marcus Smart every once in a while can go to the basket. White, we don't have guys that could do that, Chris. That's why I keep saying we don't. What we have on this team right now is not a compliment to Tatum's skill set. And you mentioned Jokic. Well, Jokic's the best player in the NBA, so what are we going to do? I mean, we don't have him. We're not going to have him. He's the best player in the league.
Right, but he's got Murray.
He's got Murray and Murray and Chris. But listen, think about the games that the Nuggets won. One game Murray goes off, right?
Yeah.
One game Jokic goes off. One game they win because Aaron Gordon scored 27 points and had 13 rebounds. That's 3 games, Chris.
Yeah.
3
One of them, they both went off. One of them, it was like 30-30 and double-doubles, triple-doubles.
Chris, 3 different guys really played key roles in them winning. In that Miami series, other than Tatum, who played a key role in winning games for them? Who?
White.
Who else can use it? Not who? Brown? No.
White.
Maybe one of the games, maybe. But they're not. So getting to your point of, are we close? Well, me going through those 3 guys, they're not close to the Nuggets. The Nuggets would have beat the Celtics in 5 too, Chris. I'm guaranteed. I 100% believe that they would have beat the Celtics in 5 games, just like they beat Miami. It wouldn't even have been close.
I agree. And talking about what Mark was talking about last week was complementary players. You know, somebody passed this ridiculously stupid comment of, I'd rather have Brown and Tatum than Jokic and Murray, which Mark lost his mind about and should.
Yeah.
So because why? Because Brown and Tatum don't complement one another. Look, here are the combinations, Mark, okay, from 2016 to 22 of the top 2 players of the team. LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, lower guy, point guard. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, guard, forward, or center. Yep. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry again. Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, okay. LeBron James, Anthony Davis. And by the way, LeBron can play guard too. So, you know, he's not a point, but
yeah,
you know.
LeBron. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then there was Giannis and Middleton. Okay. And then Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So, like, when you look at that list of, and now Jokic and Murray. When you look at that list, Mark, those are players that complement one another. They're not players that when one of them's got the ball and trying to do something, the other one's kind of standing off in the corner, just kind of waiting for a pass. They complement. They play together. We don't have that.
No, we don't. We don't have that. We don't have it. And Chris, interesting enough, what comes out yesterday? The Washington Wizards are working with Bradley Beal to try to trade him because Beal has a no-trade clause. And he will come play with Boston because him and Tatum are childhood friends. So now's your opportunity once again to trade Jaylen Brown. If they want Marcus Smart, give him Marcus Smart too.
Mark,
and if they want
I don't think it's going to cost that much.
Hey, give him Joe Mazzulla. Put him on the plane with them. Send Joe with them too.
I don't think they should even want. I don't think you should have to give up that much. He's 11th year. He's been playing for 11 years. Beal.
I know, Chris, but he's 29 years old. Jaylen Brown's going to be 26. So there's like a 3-year age difference. You got a window of 3 or 4 years where you could win a couple of championships with Beal.
Yeah. I don't really going to give up both, but yeah, you get.
But
you
if I had
them.
to, look, this is how strongly I feel you could win a championship if you get Beal. If I had to give them both up, I would.
So Jokic 8th year in the league. Murray's I think 7th year. Okay.
Yeah.
So it took them a while to get this championship. Could we be seeing that with Brown and Tatum? Because it just one of those things where they got to take another year or two.
But that, Chris, people throw that stat out there because people like to manipulate numbers, right? But we don't do that on the Real Deal.
Nope.
On this show, the Real Deal.
This is why I'm bringing it up so that you could.
We don't do that. Murray was out for 2 years with an injury. So it didn't take them that long. They would have won a championship 2 years ago if Murray didn't hurt his knee. Because they were already in the bubble after COVID. They almost made it to the finals of the West. They were ready to take that next leap. The following year, Murray gets hurt in October. He misses a year and a half with the knee. If Murray don't get hurt, Chris, they would have won the championship the year after COVID.
So
I firmly believe that. So it wouldn't have taken them as long as everybody says it was going to take them.
Okay, so now when you look at that, you say, well, about Beal, Lillard, there was discussion with Lillard. What would you want to go to? Why don't players, and I want to get to the Bruins, but why don't players want to come here? I mean, say, I want nothing to do with Boston. Is it the city?
I don't know.
Is it the atmosphere? Is it the culture? Because the Heat aren't taking any crap for losing this series because they got this culture that they're building there. So they're really not taking any crap, Mark, for losing.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. What are you going to say? It's going to be partly the city, partly the culture. I don't know. But you're right. Players don't want to come here, and I don't know. I can't put my finger, Chris, on why that is. I have three, like you, everything you just brought up. I think it all plays into it, but I don't know why. But Beal would come here. That's my reason for saying Beal. Beal will come here to play with Tatum. He'll come.
I think it's a leadership issue. And I think players are smart enough to see that Tatum doesn't have the dog in him.
Listen,
and I think they're smart enough to see it.
Listen, but I know we're gonna switch over topics, but listen, I know what you and I think of Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving has standing among players in the league for whatever reason, Chris.
Yeah.
And when he called out Tatum and Brown 3 or 4 years ago, to your point,
it was like
Chris,
blasphemy, but it was true.
It was like, but I think it was true, and I think to your point, Chris, leadership. I think the players around the league know it's true. They all say, "Oh, Tatum's a superstar," but is he a dog that's going to win you a championship? And to your point, Chris, no. And Chris is on record; he'll never win a championship.
So
the way he's
right, and so again, we keep talking about drama in the East. That's the theme today: drama in the East, drama in Boston, drama in New England. This is drama filled, and it always is Mac versus Bill, and he hasn't talked to him, and here we are with the Celtics. And here's the other drama queen in the city, the Boston Bruins. Mark, you and I said this was coming last year when Cassidy was let go. Okay, when he was fired because he became the fall guy for what took place last year, and you and I were on that, and we said this is wrong what they're doing. This guy shouldn't be the guy that falls. It should be Sweeney or somebody else. But it shouldn't be him just because a few guys are pansy asses. They can't freaking deal with Cassidy and the way he is. Well, guess what? He goes to Vegas in his first year. He's hoisting a cup. How stupid do you look, Bruins?
Yeah. And that was, Chris, that was solely really
for him.
The person who ought to be ashamed of himself, Chris, is Bergeron.
Absolutely.
Bergeron, as much as I love him and as much as he's been a great Bruin, he orchestrated getting rid of Cassidy. And they can say he can BS all he wants. That was orchestrated by Bergeron and I don't even know, Chris, if it was, hey, I'm retiring, but if you get rid of him, I'll come back for a year or two.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Same with
he
Krejci.
was the fall guy. Yep, he was the fall guy. They chose those guys over him.
Yeah. Who, by the way, Krejci was on the bench in the playoffs. Krejci ran out of gas. Yeah. And Bergeron wasn't much better in that series.
But listen, so Chris, you know what? Hey, good for him. I'm so glad he won the Stanley Cup. I'm thrilled he won the cup.
Good
for him. You know what? Because the players in this league have become pansies. You mentioned it, Chris. Toughen up, put your goddamn skates on, and go out there and play and shut your mouth. Because he drove you too hard. Because he expected too much out of you. Are you kidding me? Really? Because look where that got you. You got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs with a players coach. Oh, hell of a job, players coach.
And there it is. Congratulations, Cassidy. Weekly Rewind was presented by Special Sauce Podcast, specialsaucepodcast.com. Hey, when we come back, we're going to continue this theme of drama in the East. We're going to go Yankees-Red Sox, and we're going to do it next.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
So, Mark, drama in the East, and that, baseball is not excluded from that. Yankees versus
No.
Red Sox, Mark.
No.
So, look, we're talking about the Red Sox right now. We get to the Yankees in a second, but Bloom and Cora, I mean, these two guys are on a collision course, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And the ownership, which I think John Henry's checked himself out, but at some point, Chris, they're going to have to make a decision. Do they want to keep Cora, or do they want to continue with Bloom because they believe in Bloom's 5-year plan or 6-year plan? And do they want to save money and cut costs and try to win with what his model or what the model in those small markets were, or at least in Tampa when he was there? But Cora's not going to continue like this, Chris. If they don't give him the horses, he's not continuing. He'll get out. He'll leave. He'll do something. But this isn't. You're gonna have to make a decision. It's one or the other, Chris. They're not gonna coexist for too long because Cora keeps taking shots at him.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's the deal for me. They keep winning some games. It's funny because they are high drama. This is a team that defensively just suck. I mean, they flat out stink in the field. Yet they take 2 of 3 against New York, the Yankees. They do decent on the road. I don't remember what the series was against Colorado, but I think they lost 2 of those. But the point is, what the hell happens when we don't keep winning? There isn't, these kinds of wins, and they drop that far below 500. It's just a collision course. I mean, Boone, Chaim Bloom, he was brought in here to do a specific thing, Mark. Okay, he was brought in to do a very, very specific thing, and that was to not spend money. I mean, that's what he was brought in to do, because John Henry could care less about this team. It's never been more evident to me that the owner could care less about this team than this situation. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the bottom line. And the problem with this city is this is a baseball town. I mean, it really is a baseball town, Mark. And here we are.
It's a baseball town.
And so that's the problem. So I think these two, yeah. And the only reason why I think they're winning any games is because of the manager. I really believe that. They get some timely hitting and some key hitting, but he's keeping some of these guys engaged, okay, and playing decently well to continue to be where they are.
Chris, there's guys on this team. They're not even major league players. Like some of these, like the shortstop, Chris. Okay, I understand Story's hurt, but Chris, the shortstop doesn't even belong in the major leagues. I mean, that's all you got on the bench to put in until Story gets healthy. And the first baseman, Chris, all I heard about was this Cassis. That's why they didn't go out and sign Rizzo or any of these guys. The first baseman, Chris, he's batting about 180. He stinks. He's not ready for the major leagues, but they forced him to come up because they kept saying, "Oh, we got our first baseman of the future." So now they got him there. You ain't gonna. Cora would send him down in a minute if he could. That kid's not ready for the Major League Baseball.
No. This is my whole point, and this is why these two guys are. I can't imagine. You know what's funny? It will be Cora that goes. It will be Cora because he's the guy that's not going to be able to take it anymore because, again, Bloom's got his marching orders, and his marching orders are clear. Don't spend any money. We're not going to pay a tax. We're not going to do it. I don't care. We've won some championships. Henry, my focus is somewhere else. Yeah, they can't even get the broadcast. They can't even get a good quality broadcast of the games. But yet, Mark, they do take 2 out of 3 against the Yanks. And the Yankees seem to keep flipping the page to the Yankees. This team continues to lose these late game situations. They lost to the Mets again yesterday, right? In 10, I think it was. And that's happened to them over the last couple of weeks. And so I don't, are they much better? Is I guess my question to you. Are they really that much better? They get injured.
Chris, you keep hearing that they got the best bullpen in baseball. Well, they keep losing games in the 10th inning. So how do they get the best bullpen in baseball? Number one. Number two, yeah, I think they're better than the Red Sox, Chris. They are. They're like 10 games over 500. They're better than the Red Sox. I mean, Judge is hurt, right? I think Judge gets healthy. Harrison Bate is hurt. Beta gets healthy. Rodon might be coming back, the pitcher that they spent all that money on. I think they're a better team than the Red Sox are. But they're not a World Series team, Chris. You and I talked about it. They're not there. They're no different than they've been the last 3 or 4 years. They'll make the playoffs. They'll run into a team like maybe a Houston or somebody like that. They're going to get knocked out again. And they just don't have the whole team to do it. I think they have some guys in the minor leagues that can turn them into a different type of a team, but they're not ready to come up yet. So they're better than the Red Sox, Chris, but they're not a World Series contender either.
No. And yeah, and obviously I was being facetious about, them and the Red Sox, are they even much better? Yeah, of course they're better than the Red Sox. And the Red Sox, the more I see out of them, I think they're gonna drop below 500. I really do. And the Yankees, the Yankees will push for a playoff, like you say, but they're just not. Again, these are two teams that I just feel like these are two teams going in the wrong direction. And I think the Yankees are a team that's just going in the wrong direction. The buttons that they're pushing, that Cashman's pushing.
Chris, we keep talking about. So we're talking about Cora and Bloom. What about you? You bring up a good point. What about Cashman? So how long is he going to get a pass, Chris? They keep re-signing him to extensions in Boone. So is that the right combination for the Yankees? And I know we're running out of time, and that might be for next week's question for our callers. Call in, send us something in the mailbag. We keep talking about Cora and Bloom every week. What about Cashman and Boone? Are they the right combination for the Yankees, or do they need to make a switch?
All things we can think about, all things we can consider. And you know what? We're going to have some time to talk about it through this summer because baseball goes on and on and on and on some more, So, but we're going to keep going on and on and on. We're going to give you all the information you need, but we will get to that too. So Corso and Catone was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Hey, get on, watch, listen. All our shows are up for you to do that. And come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hey, we're going to see what happens with DeAndre Hopkins. Let's see if a decision's made, and let's see if he becomes a New England Patriot. Catone's comments, your calls, and mailbags. And guess what? Hey, we're going to put a new segment in next week, okay? And, Mark, aren't you, really excited about this? Or
I'm ready. I can't wait.
It's going to be called Would You Rather? Would you rather? And so we want you to get on. We want you to, email us, call us with the Would You Rather topic. And you didn't ask, Mark, but would you like to know what the topic is so everybody can actually call in and write in?
Well, what's the topic? Would you rather be T-Rex or would you rather be, what is it?
Or Joe. No, listen.
Yeah.
Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak? Okay. Would you rather lose the ability to read or the ability to speak? Write in, call in, give us all your takes on that. Anything else you bring to the table, we will be ready for it. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Find Corso and Catone on iHeartRadio, iTunes, or wherever you podcast. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, Corso and Catone, and catch the chaos at 7 p.m. on Saturday.